Wednesday, the 27th of January 2021. 8 races will be run at Hollywood Bet's Greyville on the Poly track. A tough race card awaits, as racing has been fairly recently. Some tough but exciting and competitive racing. 8 races. The first race at 12:35, 25 to 1. It's over 1,400 metres. It's a maiden plate and it kicks off the first leg of the bipod. So the bipod starts at the very, very first race. And as always, it's lovely to be going through these 8 races with my good friend and colleague, Graham Hawkins.
Hi Warren, yes, another very, very competitive card awaits us. So it's going to be a challenging puzzle for punters to solve. But if you get it right, the rewards are rich.
Well, in the first race, which as we've mentioned is the first leg of the bipod, so we just need to let the punters know they need to get their bipods on fairly early. The obvious one for me is number 7, straight 6, for Michael Roberts, Serena Woodley and Dr. Nick Labuschagne. Lightly raced, excellent last effort, Graham. Only thing that worries me, and I don't think it should be, and you can set me straight, 1 run over the course, 1 run over the distance, and on the Poly track, and that was the worst of his 3 runs.
That is a bit of a concern. His first run after gelding, and it may be the gelding that's improved him, rather than a change of surface. He ran 3rd under a length behind Rainbow Rising. That was on the turf track, as you've pointed out. So whether it's a change of surface, or whether it was the fact that that was his first run as a gelding, only the race is going to show. Often maiden plates are the easier races to narrow down. But when they're betting 4 to 1 the field in a maiden race, it's a clear indication that there are quite a few with chances. So while I'm in your camp, I would make number 7, straight 6 my first choice. It's not with a great deal of confidence because there are others with strong claims, including, of course, number 2, What a Rider from the Dean Canamair stable. A touch disappointing last time, Warren. We are going to be chatting on the line to Dean Canamair. It's only got 2 runners, both of them key runners in races 1 and 2, the opening legs of the bipod, so we'll hear what he has to say. But clearly from a good draw, number 2, What a Rider, can put an indifferent run behind him.
Absolutely, because you and I were quite big on What a Rider last time. We've got to remember, Graham, that Storm Chaser won that race by a steeplechase margin, so we mustn't get put off by that 8.10 lengths to Storm Chaser. But as I said, and as you said, we were still a little disappointed. We thought he would get a lot closer.
It wasn't so much that he got beat so far. He was never travelling. He was never going well. And that's a concern for me because he still looks like a big baby and he could need even more racing experience. It's going to be interesting to hear what Dean has to say. Another very interesting runner is number 3, Fists of Fire, who has recently joined the Peter Muscat stable. He's had 11 starts for the Michael Azzi yard on the Highveld for a 2nd, 2/3 and 2/4. So he's had many chances to shed his maiden ticket. He's owned by Jamie Villela, who also, of course, owns Solar Flare, and this is the half-brother to Solar Flare. So, Fists of Fire, what do you make of this one? Obviously, the Visionaires, we know, love the Poly track, so he could certainly make a winning KZN debut.
He certainly could. I wouldn't be shocked. It's been well documented, Peter Muscat, on his Facebook page, and I had a word with him at the races at Hollywood Bet Scottsville last week, that there's something a little not right in the yard, but they're plugging away, and he's doing his best. You never ignore Peter Muscat and his horses, so certainly Fists of Fire has to have a bright chance. One other I want to mention before we close the first race, the first leg of the bipod. One of my horses to follow, or horses that are worth keeping an eye on, and we'll touch on that a bit later, comes up in the very first race, number 12, Decorated, a colt by Global View out of a mare called Art Deco for Frank Robinson, Mr. Cherry and Tristan Godden. Drawn deep, Graham, I know, but that first run wasn't the worst effort, just over 6 lengths to Mexican Cat Dance. I know that form is not the greatest, but I feel that this colt will improve off that run.
I think Decorated has plenty of scope for improvement. He does run from a deep draw. I fancy he'll need 1 more before starting to show his best form. I think we ought to mention before closing, Warren, number 4, Flying Vision, and number 8, Storybook. They're both well fancied in the betting. They ran 2nd and 4th respectively behind Hello Again. I'm suspecting that Hello Again form is not that strong, but they're certainly worthy of a mention in a very open-looking race, the first leg of the bipod. It's a maiden plate over 1,400 metres, competitive race. You probably need to go a little wide to ensure you get through the first leg of the bipod.